Howdy, y'all. I'm Justin.
And I'm Kim.
Welcome to Cowboys Like Us, the podcast where we talk about Taylor Swift and her music. Yeehaw. Hello, and welcome back to Cowboys Like Us, the least favorite podcast of the state of Louisiana. Louisiana, like the Netherlands, but with more gumbo and fewer teeth. Now, for anyone from Louisiana listening who's offended, just know that this is a bit we're doing until you listen. If you're listening, good on you. Today, we are talking about Taylor's brand new album, The Tortured Poets Department. Came out last night, and it was twice as large as anyone thought it would be. That was exciting.
Yep.
Madeline is here, the pod gremlin.
Yellow, literally twice as much as anyone expected.
And we're going to get into all of it. But first, I'd like to share a couple of comments we got this week from Mac, our erstwhile pod fan. He commented on if this was a movie and Snow on the Beach, our episodes. And he asked, do you think that the pen that Taylor used to write lyrics for TTPD was actually a typewriter? And if not, what pen would go with each track? Which is a very good and involved question that I have put no thought into.
Yes, no, it's a solid question. I said in the group chat that Mac was my professor era persona because it was a well-rounded question. And we get into some of the pen stuff with things that Taylor gave us this week in the lead up to the album. But it seems like there's not a glitter gel pen in sight.
Yep.
Our little Instagram video that we got, there were very obviously glitter gel pens on the coffee table in the Midnight's room, and we left that room and there were no more gel pens. The only typewriters. When we were listening last night, said that the subject of the song, Tortured Poets Department, which turned out to be a different subject than we thought it would be, that he seems more like a typewriter of a person, whereas Joe Alwyn kind of gives more fountain pen.
Yes, and Taylor seemingly has contempt for people writing with typewriters in this day and age. So I presume the typewriter is not the pen for this album.
Maybe not.
She pulls a Justin and roasts people.
Yeah. Unless she did it for the irony, I don't know. But
stole your typewriter.
Yeah. I don't know. This is giving me a little more fountain pen vibes, this whole album, except for maybe Tortured Poets Department. If she wrote that one with a typewriter, that'd be hilarious.
Mac also gave us his guess for what LOML might stand for. He thought maybe it was last on my list. It does not appear to be. It is both love of my life and loss of my life. They're both.
It's a duality.
Yep.
And it's unclear on what we should call the song, like which definition the song title actually is on purpose. So we as a podcast have decided that it is called Lom.
Lommel.
Lom.
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 Henceforth, it shall be called Lommel.
Lommel. Last question.
Finally, Mac wanted to know if we would cover Renegade and Alcott, which are songs that Taylor is featured on. To be honest, until Mac asked, I hadn't really thought about it. Taylor is, of course, featured on other songs as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do y'all think?
When we run out of Taylor songs, if we could get that far.
We can't catch her, man. She's putting out so much.
We can't catch her right now, but I think it could be fun to do on Patreon.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Bonus episode when we got some time to record extra.
Yep.
That's not bad.
We also have, like, Highway Don't Care with Tim McGraw and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we could make some bonus feature episodes as opposed to a small bonus like this.
Yep.
Yeah. So probably at some point is the answer.
Yeah, but it's not
in
the
some
plan
format
right now.
Yep. But we don't know. So stay tuned. We'll find out. All right. let's get into it. Tortured Poets Department got some news first about it. Elon and the boys on X banned the phrase Taylor Swift leak ahead of the album release because it was circulating around the interwebs a few hours before it came out. NBC News had live coverage of the Tortured Poets Department release. I did not see that.
Me and Kim looked at it for a very short time when we were taking in all of the basically pre-gaming for the album drop. And they had live coverage and they were giving you everything you need to know to listen to the album. Like they were translating Taylor Swift. There's an article about it on their website, recapping. Pretty solid.
TTPD is the most pre-saved album in Spotify history, and it broke the Spotify record for most streamed album in a single day in 2024.
And it did that within 12 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Taylor also broke her own record for the most streamed artist in a single day in the history of Spotify. The Tortured Poets Department holds the record for the biggest streaming day in history. It feels like we've said the same thing 3 times. I don't know. Does it make sense?
No. To clarify for everybody, most streamed album this year, most streamed artist in a single day, and most streamed album in a single day.
People have been streaming it a lot, I think, is what Madeline is trying to convey. Yep, and it's also the first album in history to debut with over 200 million streams in its first day.
Not even been 24 hours.
Nope, it has not.
Crazy.
We, in the weeks and I guess months leading up to the release, were a little bit confused. Where is all the Easter eggs and the teasing and the games?
Mm-hmm.
We had Taylor throwing 2s up everywhere, which obviously paid off in a big way. But other than that, it was pretty quiet up until this week. And then it went into overdrive and I could not follow it.
It was overwhelming.
It was.
I was so overwhelmed.
There's a lot of shit to pack into 1 week.
Madeline's got a timeline here of it, I believe.
I did have to make a timeline because it was the only way that I could find to make sense of it all. I also had a very busy week in my real person job, my 9 to 5. So keeping up with all of this has just been swimming in deep ocean water. So the first thing that happened was Monday at the beginning of the week. Apple Music teased a word of the day on their social medias. So if you went to Apple Music, their social media bio changed to word of the day every day until TTPD. So the words were hidden, just like the old liner notes from the old album print, with randomly capitalized letters in the Taylor songs. The songs that the clues were found in were from each of the Grief playlists that she released. So people knew where to look. The first one was Hereby. It was found in the song Glitch. Second word was conduct or conduct. People were talking about which one it was. Found in the song Peace. Then the word this in Better Than Revenge. Then the word post, we, and mortem, which was weird because it was suddenly out of order. We felt like it was going in order at first, and then she threw the we in there, and everybody got confused. I don't remember what songs those came out of, and I forgot to write it down. So, it's on the internet somewhere. But if you unscramble all that, it is, we hereby conduct this post-mortem.
Yep, if you put we in the proper spot, which is the only thing out of place.
And it's like, why did she do that?
I was going to say, do you think that, whoever was in charge, the intern that was in charge of, putting them in order, released the wrong one first? And they were like, oh, shit, we forgot to put we in there.
Yep, we'll just sneak it in and hope no one notices.
Somehow, I feel like maybe it has to do with the first word being in the song Glitch, because everything's a glitch recently, and I still feel like the glitches aren't over. I feel like Rep is going to be the glitch ultimately.
Could be.
The Tortured Poets Department, a Spotify library installation, showed up at the Grove in Los Angeles this week for a few days, the 16th through the 18th. Yeah, this was a collab because Spotify was doing a listening party for the album release. So Taylor and Spotify did a little collab art installation, which was packed full of references and Easter eggs, all kinds of shit. There were a bunch of books, obviously, because it's supposed to be a library. So the book spines had the titles of the songs from the album on there. There were 72 card catalog drawers, and 6 of them were open. The 6 open ones had cards that said TTPD on them that looked like wedding invitations and scraps of like lace or like veil and dead flowers in them or dried flowers. I don't know if they were necessarily dead, but they gave the dead look.
You sent me a thing where somebody had turned it into a calendar.
Yes.
That'll have to be a clown corner. We'll have to dive into that.
Yeah, 72 months in 6 years. So they thought that it was a calendar from the start to finish of Joe and Taylor's relationship, and it lined up pretty well. And all the open drawers were like significant dates in their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There was a quill and a fountain pen in the way of pens. So that is why fountain pen makes sense to me. Which she said that Folklore and Evermore were quill and ink writing to her at some point. I don't remember the exact quote. But anyway, there was also a typewriter. It was
It
a
says
big
number
part
3
of
on
the
the front.
album, so it needed to be there.
Yeah.
There was
It
a
says number 3 on the front, and people were speculating that track 3 was going to be the lead single. And no, but we still don't know what the number 3 was about.
right, yeah. There was a book that had a big block U and S on it. So us, like the story of us.
Right.
Probably just an Easter egg and the end of a relationship. And there was a peace sign statue of a hand there, so another 2, which got moved with a clock that was there that was set to 2 p.m. right next to the typewriter right before release yesterday. Or not, it was moved on the 18th, right before the release when it happened. And then there's also a statue that is Diana of Ephesus, the goddess of childbirth and fertility, and the goddess of the moon. The original statue of this crumbled in the 6th century in London due to neglect. So lots of ties back
Like
to
someone else we know.
Yep. There was a globe with a nail or a pin stuck in the southern tip of Florida.
Miami.
That's where Miami is.
That's what they call it.
There was a tiny mailbox, which people think was probably for Post Malone.
Posty.
There was a calendar, which I think is the most interesting, that was set to Friday, December 13th. And Taylor's birthday falls on a Friday this year. So I'm thinking that is a Easter egg towards debut coming out on her birthday.
Same.
And there was a tambourine, a Stevie Nicks reference for one of the songs. And then the flowers that were in the boxes were Cornelia's, poppies, and daisies. There was also some dried lavender and...
Yeah, there's something else that's like kind of wheat looking that's not lavender, that's with lavender. I haven't seen the flower people decode all the flowers yet.
And then there was a giant open book display that had lyrics on it, and they twice a day revealed some lyrics from the album for the days that it was up, which were
2 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Yeah. Even statues crumble if they're made to wait. One less temptress, one less dagger to sharpen. As she was leaving, it felt like breathing. Lost the game of chance. What are the chances? And come one, come all, it's happening again.
The library's super cool. I really liked that rollout.
Yep. It was an interesting one for sure.
While people were decoding this library and keeping up with that for the 3 days it was up and while it was changing, Target started setting up their displays in the entertainment section for the TTPD. And they also set up a second shelf display in lots of Target. And the tags read Serpentine. And when you scan the barcode, it just takes you to the page to order TTPD. What's that about?
So I do think that this is a red herring. I mean, obviously a red herring. It was a placeholder for the anthology that we got. But
Yep.
I think this is her, again, hinting that Rep is next and hinting at the ties between this album and Rep.
Here's the thing, Taylor. Every person on earth knows Rep is next. Just put the damn thing out.
Honestly.
That's awesome. No, so some of the craziest shit that happened this week is Tortured Poets Department themed QR code was noticed being painted, actively painted in Chicago. Instead of doing like blocks, they were shading the blocks with the letters TTPD, like forwards and backwards and upside down, and they were painting it really big on the wall on the side of the building, like a mural, but up in the air. And if you scanned this QR code, it takes you to a YouTube short of Taylor typing on a typewriter, and she gives you a letter. Well, we proceeded to get 13 QR codes in 13 cities with 13 letters. The letters spell for a fortnight, and they were found in the following cities. And they're various art installations. They're not all the same, so they weren't easy to find. The Nashville one is really cool. It's got a mural beside it that looks like the album cover. But okay, For a Fortnight was found in Brooklyn, London, Los Angeles, Paris, Melbourne, Nashville, Sydney, Chicago, Montreal, Mexico City, Berlin. Why did I type Berlin twice? I skipped one. And Toronto. I skipped one. Let's find out where it is on my phone. But this code, For a Fortnight, this secret password of all the mix-up of letters, got you into a hidden countdown on Taylor's website. It was a countdown until 2 p.m. yesterday, and it ended up being a limited release Fortnite single CD for the low price of $1.99. It was gone in minutes. In response to these shenanigans, user @singin_Swifty tweeted, "Normal people have their faves show up on Jimmy Fallon and call it a day, but we get the Zodiac Killer." Taylor liked the tweet from her personal account. Another user on Instagram @RedWinnett posted a similar meme saying, "Thank God she became a musician and not a serial killer." And Taylor also liked it from her personal account.
Taylor posted a video on Instagram, like I mentioned, moving from the Midnight's era room to what appears to be a psych ward, an insane asylum, something like that. Very stark white walls.
Yep.
Nothing in sight. Just very minimal. And then into the Tortured Poets Department office, which there were 2 desks, 2 clocks set to 2 o'clock, and a timetable that revealed a music video coming out at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on a Friday. And there were also 14 tally marks under that. So pretty much figured to be for Fortnite, which the music video is for.
Yep. 2 weeks, 14 days.
Exactly. And other people were mentioning that the last time we saw tally marks with Taylor was when she was locked up in the vault in prison, and she was tracking the days. And that's how people track the days in prison. So her in the psych ward just locked away.
There's also a song called Straight Out the Slammer.
There it is.
Yeah, there definitely is. So Spotify users will know the This Is artist playlist, but the This Is Taylor Swift Spotify playlist at the end of the day yesterday, right before the album dropped. A peace sign emoji, another 2, was added to the description of the playlist. And people were like, what does it mean? And then the last thing that happened before drop was Taylor posted a teaser clip for the Fortnite music video featuring Posty. It's very short. We watched it, I don't know how many times.
Yeah, Madeline, along with the friend of the pod, Amber. I was about to play like another friend, but she's been on here.
Yeah.
We had a listening party last night in the middle of the night, and we were
in the middle of the night,
like frame by frame, as much as we could. We kept talking about all of it.
I was sleeping, for anyone who's curious.
We were being excited and listening to new music. So the album went live at 11 p.m. our time. Love that for us. And it's quite backstory here to tell you the next part. Earlier in the week, a new special effect we've never seen was added to Instagram. And when you pull down Taylor's profile, like you're going to refresh her page, a countdown for the album showed up. Well, the album went live at 11. And while everyone was listening to the album release, a second countdown popped up and started ticking down to 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. our time. And then at 2 a.m., Taylor announced and released the Tortured Poets Department, The Anthology, with 15 additional tracks, including the bonus tracks that we had expected from the vinyl variant. We had to take a break. Like, we had to take like a bathroom break and like a debrief break before we started the next 15 songs. And for that entire time, I could not stop repeat. Like, I was stuck in my brain. 15 more songs.
We saw from someone else's Instagram that there was a countdown, and the time it took for the three of us to figure out where this additional countdown was took far too long. And then once the countdown was over and we were trying to figure out like what the announcement was, we were all refreshing different pages looking for it, and it popped up on Taylor Nation, and I just started screaming, and I read the caption out loud, but it like didn't register with any of us because we were all expecting it to just be 4 more songs, which would be the bonus tracks. But then it was 15, and we were all just kind of staring at each other. And Madeline was like, 15? I was like, 15 more tracks. And Madeline kept going, 15 more tracks.
Yeah. How do we feel about all of this teasing?
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting strategy. Other than the twos, which have been recurring for months now, it was like Taylor waited, and then 4-day blitzkrieg of clownery at the world. And
Yeah.
to me, it was way too much in way too short of a time. I couldn't keep up with it, and it just frustrated me.
Yeah. I think it's a lot. She could have toned it back a little bit, and it would have been great.
Just spread it out.
And that's,
Like she is joking about, she's a fucking serial killer.
yeah. But we've also been picking up on the clues of a double drop in some way, shape, or form since spring of or summer of last year. So almost a year now that we've been, she's been telling us that this is coming. We just thought it was Speak Now release, and then it was 1989 release, and then it was going to be Reputation, and then it was going to be, something else.
Nobody thought she was going to release basically what effectively is 2 brand new albums at one time.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Let's get into it a little bit. So we got the full Tortured Poets Department, the anthology, 31 songs, and they are Fortnight, the Tortured Poets Department, My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, Down Bad, So Long London, But Daddy I Love Him, Fresh Out the Slammer, Florida, Guilty as Sin, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can, Lommel, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, The Alchemy, and Clara Bow. That's the standard track listing. And then we get into the anthology, The Black Dog, I'm Gonna Get You Back, The Albatross, Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, How Did It End, So High School, I Hate It Here, Thank You, Amy, I Look in People's Windows, The Prophecy, Cassandra, Peter, The Bolter, Robin, and The Manuscript. So the 4 bonus tracks from the vinyl variants are there, and then 11 songs we had never known existed until they were dropped upon us like a bomb.
Yes, and notable, after we had time to listen to, we as a people, the royal we, had time to listen to the drop, the whole album start to finish. Somebody tweeted, and I can't quote them because I don't have it pulled up. Somebody tweeted, none of the lyrics that were teased in the TTPD library that Kim was talking about were in the original 16 songs. So all of our teased lyrics weren't available. And somebody tweeted about it. And Taylor Nation responded with like eyeballs, and they were like, oh, that's weird. Before the second drop.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think any of us noticed just because it was like, you can't keep track of that when you're being so overwhelmed with new material like that.
I didn't notice that it was all of them, but I did notice several. I was like, oh, that's one of the teased lyrics when I listened this morning through the whole thing.
Once we heard the back half, we were like, oh, there's that lyric. Oh, there's that lyric. There's like that one. But when we listened to the front half, we were like just processing everything we were hearing, not even noticing that we were missing the lyrics that they teased.
Yeah.
So who the hell was involved with this thing other than Taylor Swift? Obviously. Well, we've got her longtime producer friends, Mr. Jack Antonoff and Aaron Dessner, both involved.
Last night, Kim said that first side is all Jack and second side is all Aaron, and she wouldn't hear any difference.
She's more or less accurate, as we'll see.
Sound wise, that's what it sounded like. Like the front half was a Bleachers album featuring Taylor Swift, and the back half was the national album featuring Taylor Swift.
Here's the breakdown. So Taylor and Jack produced 8 songs of the 31. 7 of those 8 are in the standard album.
Mm-hmm.
So only 1 in the anthology, the back half. While Taylor and Aaron produced 15 songs together, almost twice as many, but only 5 made the standard album.
Yeah.
Whereas 10 were on the anthology. So Taylor herself, on her own, wrote 5 songs. My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, The Manuscript Peter, and The Black Dog. A couple of good ones in there. Taylor Swift and Florence Welch wrote Florida, the one Florence features on. Fortnight was written by Taylor Swift, Jack Antonoff, and Austin Post. That's Post Malone's government name for y'all out there. And finally, Taylor Swift, Jack Antonoff, and Patrick Berger wrote I Look in People's Windows together. I don't know who Patrick Berger is. I didn't know he was a person, and then I saw his name, and here he is.
Yeah, I've never heard of him, but welcome.
Guys. Well, the first person that pops up when you look at it is a soccer player. And I'm like, surely it's not the soccer player.
I don't
Okay, no, I found him. Okay, he's on Genius.com. And he looks like my uncle-in-law, Matthew. And he's Grammy nominated. He's from Stockholm, Sweden. And he has collaborated with Lana. And that's the only person on here I recognize.
So this is just Matthew's alter ego.
Definitely Matt's alter ego. Okay, here it is. I know. I'm going to ask my Uncle Matthew if I can get a picture of his face, like for reference for you guys, but so that Kim knows. It looks like Matt and current Eminem had a baby.
Wow.
Wild.
So yeah, those were the writing credits, and then production.
Wait, guys, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I have breaking important information. His popular songs, not just people he's worked with in a nominated for award capacity, but over here in just popular songs that he worked on. Slut from Taylor's version from 1989 and Modern Girl from Bleacher's self-titled that just came out.
Okay, so he's a friend of Jack's.
Yeah.
Yep. So those are the writers, and then producers. Taylor was a co-producer on every song, and she was with Jack and our Aaron on every song. They produced the ones that they co-wrote on, naturally. And then the only additional producers credited were Luis Bell on Fortnight. He's a frequent collaborator with Post Malone. I believe he produced his most recent record. And then Mr. Berger again, Meister Berger.
Yep.
On I Look in People's Windows. So let's get into some critical response. Obviously, it's still early. Reviews are still trickling in, but we've got several already. According to Metacritic, the aggregator, it got an overall score of 84 out of 100, which anything above an 80 is considered universal acclaim. For some context, Beyonce's most recent record, Cowboy Carter, had the highest score that I've ever seen on there at a 92. So
wow.
Yep.
Well, the Rolling Stone called TTPD wildly ambitious and gloriously chaotic.
Well, the Independent said it's irresistible.
The Times called it a 5-star pleasure.
Variety called it an audacious, transfixing project that combines cleverness with catharsis.
Billboard said messy, unguarded, and undeniably triumphant.
The Guardian said that it features some of Taylor's most cutting lyrics and nuanced musical choices.
The line of Best Fit called it sophisticated pop, Taylor's most personal record.
I like that. The AV Club said solid, but underwhelming. Thank you, AV Club.
And our friends at NME, the haters of the week, said a rare misstep, surprisingly flat, and at times cringeworthy.
What do you mean?
This is rude and incorrect.
It was a 3 out of 5 stars from the NME, the worst one I saw.
So I bought the first vinyl that Taylor announced, which was the Tortured Poets Department, the manuscript edition or variant or whatever, the white one. Yep. And it came in the mail today, which is exciting. I also got the Bolter CD with the bookmark and the patch and all that. And there was a jacket. Everybody said there was going to be a jacket. I forgot to mention that in the timeline. There was a merch drop. And rings were gone immediately, and I wanted one.
Friend of the pod, Amber, was trying to buy a hoodie in the merch drop, and it sold out from underneath her, and she was very mad about it.
Salty. She will be fine. There will be another drop. She'll be okay. Kristen hates variants, but Kim wants the display for the variants, so guess we got to buy all the variants now.
Yes.
I guess so.
Interesting things about the vinyl coming in. I opened it. I wanted to know what the confetti was going to be like, what the stars were going to be, because this is like a black and white and sepia album. There was no confetti in my package. If there is no confetti in my next package, I'm going to be very, like my CD package, I'm going to be very interested, because does that mean she's not going to play it on the Eras tour? Is this a packaging mistake because she has so many vinyls coming out? Surely not. She's, known for this.
We did kind of discuss it at our little listen party last night, but we all kind of came to the consensus that we think that she'll use these songs to bulk up her surprise song set rather than add a whole nother era to the tour.
At this point, I think it would be very, very hard to add a whole nother era. Where would you put it?
She could do it by trimming some stuff, which, I mean, she's moved things around before, but it just doesn't seem likely at this point that she would do that and alter the show that much. It's more likely that she'll just use this as bulk for surprise songs.
Yeah, so that was definitely the thing that struck me just unpackaging the box. But the other thing is the vinyls include a lyrics book, and it's connected in the package. It's in your vinyl. And it opens with an introductory poem by Stevie Nicks in Stevie Nicks' handwriting.
Ooh.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it is on the Scoot Stationery, and it's dated September 13th, 8:50 p.m. This is written out this way, but it was written on, she has a note on the side, it was originally written on August 13th, 2003.
Wow.
In Austin, Texas. But she rewrote it for this on September 13th at 8:50 p.m. It says, "For T and me, exclamation point, exclamation point. He was in love with her, or at least she thought so. He was broken-hearted. Maybe he was too. Neither of them knew. She was way too hard to handle. He was way too high to try. She couldn't see her. He wouldn't open his eyes. She was on her way to the stars. He didn't say goodbye. She looked back from her future and shed a few tears. He looked into his past and actually felt fear. For both of them, the answers would never be ever clear. Don't ask questions now. Do that later. She brings you, he brings Shakespeare. He almost a tragedy, says she. Don't endanger me. Pause. Don't endanger me. All underlined. And she wrote that pause in there, by the way. He really can't answer her. He's afraid of her. He's hid from her. And he's hidden that he's hunted by her. She tells the truth. She writes about it. She's an informer. He's an ex-lover. And she writes it with a big X instead of writing out ex-lover, which I feel is notable. There's nothing there for her. She's already gone. There's nothing that can stop her. She was just flying through the clouds when he saw her. She was just making her way to the stars when he lost her. So it's kind of tough because she has super curly old lady handwriting. I'm sure somebody will put a nice clean version up and we'll share it on our socials. But how special is that?
Pretty cool.
What? Who's going to get a personalized letter from Stevie Nicks, man, other than freaking Taylor? How nice. How exciting. So that is super cool. And the lyric books has all sorts of photography from her photo shoot that she released parts of yesterday. And then the very back has a summary poem by Taylor Swift. This one's in our Taylor's handwriting as well. It goes, in summation, at this hearing, I stand before my fellow members of the Tortured Poets Department with a summary of my findings, a debrief, a detailed rewinding, for the purpose of warning, for the sake of reminding. As you might all unfortunately recall, I had been struck with a case of a restricted humanity, which explains my plea here today of temporary insanity. You see, the pendulum swings, oh, the chaos it brings, leads the caged beast to do the most curious things. Lovers spent years denying what's ill-fated, resentment rotting away, galaxies we created. Stars placed and glued meticulously by hand next to the ceiling fan. Tired, wishing on comets, tried dimming the shine, tried to orbit his planet. Some stars never align. And in one conversation, I tore down the whole sky. Spring sprung forth with dazzling freedom hues. Then a crash from the skylight bursting through. Something old, something hallowed, who told me he could be brand new. And so I was, out of the oven and into the microwave, out of the slammer and into a tidal wave. How gallant to serve the empress from her gilded tower. Swinging a sword he could barely lift, but loneliness struck at that fateful hour. Low-hanging fruit on his wine-stained lips. He never scratched the surface of me. None of them did. In summation, it was not a love affair, I screamed while bringing my fist to the coffee-ringed desk. It was a mutual manic phase. It was self-harm. It was house and then cardiac arrest. A smirk creeps on the poet's face because it's the worst men that I write best. And so I enter into evidence my tarnished coat of arms, my muses acquired like bruises, my talismans and charms, the tick, tick, tick of love bombs, my veins of pitch black ink, all fair in love and poetry. Sincerely, the chairman of the Tortured Poets Department.
Interesting.
Bro, that's wild. That's crazy. It's got the court thing. It starts with like some Joe stuff and then is like, feels like she needs to explain Maddie Healy or like she like has to explain her decision to us.
Yeah. Sword he can barely lift. Manic phase. Seems like Maddie.
It was mutual self-harm.
Yeah.
Come on. So that's wild. That's the vinyl. That's what you get if you get the vinyl. It's absolutely wild. You get a ethereal poem at the beginning from old Stevie Nicks, the classic. We love her. Witchy woman herself. She is the OG witch lady. And as we will go on to say, I feel like Taylor's really stepping into her witchiness with this one.
All right. Well, let's get into some questions about the album as a whole. First up, is it good?
Yeah, bro.
In our notes, I put Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is good. It's very good. I think I still need more time with it just because it's so long, particularly the back half. I kind of zone out around the end of Clara Bow, to be honest. How does the Tortured Poets Department compare to Taylor's other material?
I think that in terms of sound, it's the sister album to Midnights, but in terms of theme, it's the sister album to Rep, which is what we kind of expected. Not really the sound. We didn't really know what to get there, I guess, but we expected it to kind of be a partner album to Rep.
Yeah, I definitely think Midnights is the closest sonically to it, but I do feel like, I don't know, it's a little bit more laid back and sort of vibey and atmospheric than Midnights is at times. I think it's a better record than Midnights is, in my opinion. Feels more cohesive.
Bold comment.
Yeah, though. I like the comment about it being atmospheric because it is. This one feels like, I mean, it sounds like Midnight and Evermore Had a Baby, if I have to say it's Taylor's record. But honestly, it kind of feels like she's gone out of her box and into some of her friends' boxes in a way, like Kim was joking earlier. I'll also joke. It sounds like a Bleachers album. It sounds like a fun album. This is Jack's album. This is just a Jack Antonoff album. No. But you can see the influence and her playing with her sound, and I really like it. I think this album of the year is going to be wild this year.
If you won't dip into your friend's box once in a while, are they even your friend?
Exactly. So glad I can see Kim's face right now.
What is y'all's early favorite of the tracks?
I was between two, but made a firm decision.
Because you're not a pussy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
I am.
Down bad. Yeah.
Mine's also down bad.
Yep. Taking on Madeline.
Yep.
I don't like making decisions. That is why I am bisexual and non-binary. I like Down Bad as well as I Could Do It with a Broken Heart. I've listened to most of the album a second time, but of the 31 songs, but those two I've listened to several times today.
Yeah.
For me, my early favorite is definitely Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. I just really vibe with that one. We have an early least favorite.
Mine is the Albatross. And I say this knowing that Madeline and Justin may both be like, what? But I will come out and genuinely say, I just don't think I get it yet. I think I need to spend more time with it. I don't think my little idiot brain can comprehend it quite yet.
I do like the Albatross. It's one of my back half highlights.
I do like it. I like that song. You just want the content. The early dud for me. And it might just be that I was way too tired because it was late at night and I'm an old person. But I didn't vibe with Robin on first listen through.
Yeah. We, the three of us sat around, me and Madeline and Amber sat around kind of staring at each other during the song. And then at the end, Amber went, well, that song means something to Taylor.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to get into that when we do that episode because I'm not sure what's up with it. But yeah, y'all hate birds. Noted.
Right, yeah.
We do.
Me, I'm honestly not sure. It's definitely something off the back end. There's a few contenders there, but I'm going to go with Chloe or Sam or whomever because
Sophia or Marcus.
I could not tell you what that song is, like a single lyric or anything. The melody, it makes no impression on me. I've listened to it 3 times. No idea what that song is.
Okay.
Yep. What is your early favorite lyric that stuck out to you?
So I took notes when we were listening last night, and the first lyric that hit me in the gut at the very beginning from My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys was, once I fix me, he's gonna miss me. And I wrote that, and then I wrote oof.
Mine is from Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, and it is, you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me. My childhood was complicated, and it felt like an asylum at times. And I am shaped and molded by it.
It's hard for me to pull out a good first lyric immediately, other than the one that has just been stuck in circles in my head all day, which has been, I'm so depressed. I treat every day like it's my birthday.
Yeah.
I act like it's my birthday every day. And that just like that fake happy voice that she puts on right there, that sing-songy fake voice, that plastic voice that she puts on right there, it's just on a loop in my head.
All right. How do y'all feel about the features? We'll go with Post Malone first up, featured on Fortnite. How do we feel?
I want more Posty, but I'm scared because we asked for more Lana, and then I didn't like it.
Yep, and it's shit.
So, yeah, I want more, but I'm scared to ask for more.
Rude. He provides a really good vibe to the song. I'm excited for the video. Taylor talked about how like she felt like I think that's exactly how she puts it. She felt like they were vibing when they worked together, and that gets across to me.
Yeah, I agree. He's mainly there for the vibe, a la the original Snow on the Beach. Lana was really just vibing, providing the vibes. And yeah, where's the more posty version, Taylor? Where is it? And the other feature was Florence and the Machine on the song Florida. What do we think about that?
I thought this song was so fun. It is Florida Man articles in a song, basically. It is so fun. And I liked Florence's part in the song. And their voices work together really well. And she just sounds so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Voices so smooth.
I easily agree with Kim. There are a couple of witches, first off. They sound witchy as hell. Their voices together, haunting. They sound so good. They could do an entire album together, and I would listen to the shit out of that. I would, if you threw a little bit of Hozier in there, Cottagecore Crew, I would listen to the shit out of it. Kim would listen to it. Justin would avoid it like a plague.
Christy would listen to it.
Yeah, me, you, and Christy would just have to take a little trip out into the middle of the woods to listen to that.
To listen to it.
I don't hate Hosier, but he would be a net negative, I think, for me. He would make the album slightly less good.
I don't know, man. Have you listened to his new shit?
Listen to the new album.
I love it. I'm a big fan of Florence and her music. I think she's very well utilized in this song. I'm glad that she got to sing her own verse, which presumably she also wrote. Her voice is really strong and powerful, and I was a little bit worried initially that maybe she would sort of overpower Taylor, but I think she did a good job of pulling back just a little bit so they can vibe.
Yeah.
And it gives the chorus a little more oomph, a little more punch than Taylor could do on her own. So I think that's cool. Does Fortnight seem like the best choice for the debut single? And if not, what would you have picked?
No. If I had to pick a debut single, I would pick
No.
But I could take or leave a music video for Down Bad.
You don't want to see Taylor crying at the gym?
I mean, that'd be fine, but I would much rather get Down Bad as the lead single and Who's Afraid of Little Old Me as a music video, which I hope there's potential that we still get a music video for that one.
That would be cool.
It should have been Down Bad.
Yep, I agree. Thirded. It's got to be Down Bad. Down Bad has the best chorus on the record. Choruses is what sells singles. So,
yeah. I'm pushing for Down Bad to be released as a single. If it does not, we're going to go on a Cruel Summer campaign to get it released as a single.
Yep. Everyone knew Cruel Summer should have been a single, and we were right. And finally, how mad do we think Joe Alwyn is?
I think Joe is butthurt because I don't think he knows how to not be butthurt with the songs that are about him that he did get. But I think that Maddie Healy is unaffected.
Doesn't have the capacity to feel shame.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, probably.
I think Maddie listens to the songs that Taylor wrote about him and is like vibing to him. Like the rest of us. He's like, oh shit, she's really doing this guy.
He's had diss tracks, if you want to call them that, written about him before. He's used to it. He's got a collection. That's what he does these days. No, I think Joe doesn't feel too great. He seems super pretentious to me, and I am just assuming that. I obviously do not know the man. And I am proud of him a little bit because people have just been flooding to his social medias in the lead up to the album. And he's used that for lifting the voices of the people in Gaza, which is great. But I feel like this was him trying to be like, look, I'm a good guy and I'm the bigger man and everybody should like me because I know she's going to say some mean things about me that are very true.
Yeah, I can't deny anything, so let me divert attention.
Let me be like, I'm such a good guy. I care about people. I'm the bigger man.
There's more important things going on in the world. There's children starving.
Have you considered...
So that's what makes me... I felt like he cares. He cares a little.
Have you considered the situation in Gaza, Taylor? Maybe that's worth writing an album about.
Taylor really should, in my opinion, address the situation in Gaza. There are a lot of Swifties from Palestine that feel the same way. Taylor has a big voice, but she's a brand. She's not decided to take her brand in that direction.
Yeah.
It's all bad. I think Joe Alwyn is less mad than I thought he would be before the album came out, because I thought the album was going to be 16, 17, whatever it was, songs about fuck Joe Alwyn. Joe Alwyn is a bitch. Just all, nailing his nuts to the wall, right? But I feel like he got off kind of easy, really. I think the meanest songs were about Maddie, in my opinion. So
I think that, we expected it to be start to finish, fuck you, Joe Alwyn. And it wasn't that. But looking back on it, it makes sense that it wasn't that, because none of her albums, even though they have one main subject, they're never completely beginning to end about that one person. So I think we should have expected that it was going to be a bit more spread out than that. But I think that the few songs that Joe did actually get she wrapped an entire album's worth of punches into those songs.
They're thick, boys.
Yep.
And we'll get into it. Top of the album. One sentence, 1 to 2 sentences, like 2 sentences max. You really got to get into it. First vibe, first impressions, Fortnight, featuring Post Malone.
Weird choice for an opener.
You're a weird choice for an opener. Continue.
Underwhelming.
Can't be Joe. They didn't fuck long enough.
Yeah, definitely about Maddie.
The Tortured Poets Department. Title track.
I like it. It's a good one.
I wrote, decided Maddie's song, Okay Taylor dropping names.
I wrote, remember that bag Maddie Healy carried around? I bet it was a typewriter. My boy only breaks his favorite toys.
The weakest song in the first 5.
Wow.
Something has to be. And in my opinion, it is that one.
I disagree. But anyway, I wrote, amazing, drastic tone change, grown up paper rings.
I wrote, baby boy. This is just paper rings. Down bad.
Banger.
God, this song is sick. Chorus is everything.
Aliens are fun. This is so fucking good. So long, London.
Quality ballad.
Fuck off, Joe, you bitch.
Damn these transitions. Loved this place for so long, London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wrote that too.
She double plays those words over and over again in that song, and I was like, wow, that's all I could focus on were her transitions.
I said, oh, that bridge to outro, knife to the gut.
But Daddy, I love him.
Good song, and you really should have seen my face.
I wrote, all the religious small town trauma, you don't have to pray for me.
Fuck. This chorus is just country music. This is a new life anthem.
That one to me felt like it could have been on Fearless if Fearless was a more grown up album.
Mm-hmm.
It was a country song, or at least the chorus was very country. Fresh, or Kim argued with me when I said that last night. She said it was more Western.
Yeah. it's a Western album.
Fresh out the slammer.
Syncopation. Hell yeah.
I said, what's this Western vibe? It works though.
I wrote, this one feels queer. Is this about an old love? Is this 'tis the damn season? Florida! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Love it. Love Florence.
Florida man stories in a song. Gives nobody no crime, but way better.
Who the hell lives in Florida that she's talking about? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Guilty as sin? Question mark.
Solid.
Lots of religious questioning.
Love that line, Blue Nile. So religious. Sex? Question mark. Who's afraid of little old me?
Gives me chills up my back. Early favorite.
These Western undertones are unexpected. Industry song. Obviously, look what you made me do.
Her sister was a witch, bro. This is a Western about the music industry.
Her sister was a witch, bro.
That's what it says. I can fix him. No, really, I can't.
Maddie Healy.
Maddie Healy, we see you. Put it back in your pants, Taylor.
Maddie, this is just a country album. Lol.
I like the double meaning on the anagram.
I wrote, ouch my heart. And then I wrote in capital letters, Jesus Christ, this song.
I wrote oof. And then OMG, is this literally the night they met? That one had some banger lines. There was one to the effect of, she said that he said that if the sex is as good as this conversation, you're going to be pushing strollers. And Kim about fell out of her rocking chair.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on. I could do it with a broken heart.
That dichotomy between the lyrics and the chorus, the upbeat nature of the music. Italian hands.
Chef's kiss.
Yep.
I wrote, fuck you, Joe, no one needs you.
I drew a ton of really shitty stars and put anthem, obsessed. All right, the smallest man who ever lived. Where she did, ultimately, or I'll start with this one. She said his dick was small.
It is savage. I don't think it's about Joe. I think it's about Maddie.
Interesting.
Justin has me questioning the subject of the song. However, I am going to read what I wrote last night because I think it's fun. I wrote, she didn't say, hey, Joe, you have a tiny dick, but she said, hey, Joe, your dick ain't shit.
She said he doesn't measure up in any measure of a man. That includes that measure.
No, that's true. But I wanted her to come out and say, Joe, all in your dick is tiny. And she didn't. But she said that dick ain't shit. So
tiny dick. Yeah, okay. Moving on. The Alchemy.
Football, yeah.
I wrote in asterisks, screeches. I love Trailer Swelsey.
I wrote Travis, heart with an arrow through it. It's the AI song.
It is the AI song. There was an AI song. I don't know if you heard it. That it's something to the tune of Travi made it to the big game, and it's like AI Taylor Swift, but it is the cringiest song you've ever heard. And she
one step closer to Kelsey being my last name.
That sucks. I'm glad we didn't get that.
This is a much better song.
Much better, yep.
You should listen to the AI. It's pretty funny. But this is our equivalent of that. But it's so good. I loved it. Okay. The last track of the first half, Clara Bow.
Really good. Says a lot about the industry.
Yeah. I said adult alternative to mean, another industry song.
I put, all right, 90s grunge alternative. This has got to be things people have said to her. Then 15 more songs. Starting on the back half. The Black Dog.
It was about the bar.
I said, well, the bar theory was right.
I said, oof, cheating. all lowercase. Sorry, I got real country there. All lowercase and all one word. I'm going to get you back.
Solid.
Hilarious.
This one feels like it's about Carly. The Albatross.
The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
I wrote,
I wrote that short story that Justin cited that one time. Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus.
Hello?
Early in the song, I wrote Maddie ? And then later in the song, I wrote yes.
I wrote drugs, Maddie. How did it end ?
Relatable. Small town gossip.
I pointed out that we got the line, we hereby conduct this postmortem.
I also mentioned that, but then I mentioned the sitting in a tree, DYING.
Great line.
Bars. So high school. Our other Travis song.
Not as good as The Alchemy.
I wrote Travis in all caps with 3 exclamation points and 3 hearts.
I wrote Travis and then put 5 stars beside it. I hate it here.
It's fine.
I just wrote same, Taylor.
I wrote pandemic vibes, giving lunar planet only gentle survivor rebuilding fantasy world. Thank you, Amy. Capital letters, Cube.
Who you think you fooling?
I wrote Gab with an exclamation point. You didn't end Taylor Swift.
I wrote Mama Swift with a big shocked face beside it because apparently she wants her dead. I look in people's windows.
I absolutely believe she does.
Me too, Taylor. Me too. I wrote really good, solid.
I wrote, you're so weird, Taylor. What a self-aware queen. And the reason that I had to put the other part in is because I said that out loud. The song was playing, and I said, you're so weird, Taylor. And then Taylor said something about it, and Kim was like, she called you out.
I said, she said, what, Madeline? She said, what?
Self-aware queen. The Prophecy.
I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love.
Oh.
I said, oof, more religious trauma hits.
I wrote, she's been seeking answers from religion and divination. Cassandra.
I like that one.
I wrote, people learning after years that she was right and they should have listened.
I wrote, this has to be the Oracle from Greece. Lost in imagination. Peter.
One of Taylor's familiar go-to motifs, Peter Pan.
Yeah, I said Peter and Wendy, like Cardigan, but also Empty Promises.
I wrote, closets, ? Peter Pan! !
I knew that shit was coming.
But,
closet line, I was like, oh, here we go. It's going to be
Okay.
Madeline's going to have some shit to say about the closet.
Yeah.
One of my nicknames is Peter Pan. I love Peter Pan. What an icon. The Peter Pan and Wendy thing, tying it to Cardigan, is almost confirming that she is Betty.
Yeah, that maybe that's not as made up as it might be.
Yeah, it's a fictional story, guys. Moving on. The Bolter.
Not a great nickname for a child.
I just put fun.
I wrote, what a self-portrait from an unreliable narrator. Robin.
Who the hell is she singing to?
I put ... Okay. Ronan and Never Grow Up, maybe?
I wrote, so slow. Who's this fake ruler, lion, boyish person? And our closer, our caboose, the end, the manuscript.
Solid closer, emotions.
I wrote, fuck you, Joe Alwyn. But now I have been told, I've seen theories that it might not be what I thought it was about. So anyway, it still stands.
I wrote,
fuck you, Joe Alwyn.
yeah, I mean, that's still valid. I wrote, beautiful imagery. Love that she's giving us the story now and saying she's done.
Yep.
All right. That is about all we have, I think. So
I don't think there's anything more to give. Taylor is stuck this dry, boys.
I feel great.
If you would like to share your thoughts on their new album, you can do it on our various social media platforms. What are we on now? All the things?
We're on so many things. We're on Instagram and Threads, which Taylor's on now. I forgot to say that. Taylor joined us on Threads when the album dropped. And now if you put Taylor's name or Swifties or TTPD, a single thread of gold outlines it. It's great. Anyway, so we're on Threads. Go over there. See the Taylor stuff. Taylor's over there now, so it's a cool place. X, the zombie Twitter, of course. We are on Lemon8. We are on Patreon with extra content that you can't get on any of our other social media. And we are all caught up on YouTube. Oh, and TikTok. On TikTok.
Yep. All of those platforms at
CBLU_podcast.
Yeah.
That's right. We will be back on Monday with our regularly scheduled episode, The Tortured Poets Department, the song. So if you thought you had enough, we'll give you some more. But in the meantime, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on Monday. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Pod Gremlin Maybe here. Thanks for listening to Cowboys Like Us. Follow us on all platforms at CBLU_podcast. You can find us on Instagram, X, the zombie Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. We're now posting our episodes on YouTube. Head over there and like and subscribe. All of these links can be found in our link tree in the episode description. Thanks for supporting the pod. Y'all come back now, you hear?